Good morning, folks, and welcome to Slade Centers. Slade Centers is a social and legal aid center that helps people solve their problems affordably. Not free, but very affordably. My name is Sawyer. I'm the Director of Information Services, and I'd like to talk to you today about something that's going to be sort of interesting. I don't know if you've been watching the news lately, but there's a new report that the Fed is thinking about solving some of the currency problems by printing more money. What does that mean? Inflation. What happens when you have too much paper money chasing too few goods and services? Inflation happens and prices start to go up. And there are two ways to go ahead and overcome that. Number one, you can go ahead and buy gold, or number two, you can go ahead and buy rental properties. Well, there's a third option here as well. Instead of buying the properties, what would happen if you did a lease option? And let me explain the concept of a lease option in this economy. Number one, it has to have positive cash flow, which means that if you're looking to get a property, the rent has to be enough that it covers all of your mortgage payments. Well, if you're going to start to have hyperinflation, you're going to have the price of houses go up and the rent is going to go up as well. And so if you can lock in a property right now as the rent starts to go up, what will happen is your monthly payments will stay relatively the same and your profits will go up each month. Now, is this going to happen on a steady and periodic basis? No. You're going to have the economy do some changes, and you're going to have inflation when they start to print more money, when they start to monetize the debt, which just means that they print money in order to go ahead and pay their debt. They haven't really brought in more money, they're just printing money. When they start doing that, what's going to happen is they're going to start increasing the monthly payments to people on Social Security and some of the other things, and you're going to have more currency in the economy, and so prices will go up. Well, if you're looking to buy a house, now's a great time to do that. But if you're looking to do something even better, lease option a house. Now, here are the things I'm looking for on a lease option. It has to have no maintenance needed, which means if it needs $10,000 in repairs, it doesn't fit your needs because you're not buying it. You're renting it with the right to purchase it at a later date for an agreed upon price. That's what a lease option is. You're renting it with the option to purchase it, but you lock in that price. And whenever I do a lease option, I'm looking for someone that is very motivated, because if they're motivated, they will do things that a person that's not motivated won't do. So I'm looking for three things. Number one, there has to be a dreadful alternative. If I don't buy from them, what's going to happen? Number two, there has to be a time crunch. They have to do it, and they have to do it right now. Otherwise, they're not motivated. And number three, they have to have pain. If they have the time crunch, if they have the dreadful alternative, but they don't have pain, they might say, I'll let the property go into foreclosure. So you're always looking for all three of those. Now, when you're dealing with a seller, you want to ask them this question: how long would you like to not have to worry about making the payments? And their answer is probably going to be, well, forever. Great. How long is the length of the term of your mortgage? Another 25 years? Great. I will take care of the maintenance. I will take care of the repairs. I will have the monthly payments go to an escrow company each month so that you're sure that the payments have been made. In fact, I'll do one better. I'll go ahead and make these 30 days, 60 days, 90 days in advance and stay current so that you always know that the payments are being made. So that each month you'll get a little statement saying that the payments have been made. And, Mr. Seller, guess who gets to keep the interest expense each year? You do. You get to write that off on your taxes. Guess who gets to write this off as depreciation? You do, Mr. Seller. So you have those advantages going for you, Mr. Seller. Now, am I going to put down a down payment? No. Why? Because I'm taking care of their problem. They have a problem. They have a dreadful alternative. I'm solving it. In fact, typically, I ask the seller to make a couple months payments up front so I don't have to make payments for those first couple of months. But it really depends upon your situation. They might be totally broke and it might be a great deal. So you might not be able to do that. But if they have a time certain that you're going to be making the payments from then on, and you can get in there and you can start making the payments and take care of the repairs, take care of the maintenance, and they don't have to worry about it from that point on, have all the payments be made through an escrow company, why wouldn't they take a little bit of money to go ahead and ensure that that problem is solved? And you're going to say, Reed, it sounds like you're really hurting the seller. Well, they do have the option. They can say no. But if their options are, number one, they walk away from the deal and they go into foreclosure and they lose their credit and their credit's destroyed, or I step into the property, I make the payments each month, I take care of the repairs, I take care of the maintenance, and I don't give them any money. But what I do is I help build up their credit because I'm making the payments each month. Which one is the better alternative for them? Well, mine, of course. And so you always have to take a look at the dreadful alternative rather than what they want, because the dreadful alternative is what you're negotiating for. Okay, what types of properties do you want to go for? Well, properties you want. Number one, they have to be properties that have a positive cash flow, because if you have negative cash flow, the model doesn't work. Now, could you do negative cash flow for 6 months, a year? Yes, you probably could. Why? There's lots of properties out there that are positive cash flow. Why take on a problem? Could you? Yes. Should you? No. Now, are there exceptions to that? Let's say you have a property that has $50,000 or $100,000 of equity, but it'd be negative cash flow of $100 or $200 a month. Could I have a negative cash flow of $100 or $200 a month and afford to do that if there's $100,000 in equity? I might be able to do that, but it's a choice that you have to make, so make it with an educated choice and do it intelligently rather than just going out there and saying, oh, I can't do this. And don't be afraid of negative cash flow if you have the reserves and if there's enough equity behind there. But make the choice and make it an intelligent choice rather than just saying, oh, okay, I can afford this much. What happens if the property is vacant for a month, 2 months, 3 months? Would that put you under? You had to make these decisions. The second thing I'm looking for in the house is it has to be in a good school district. It has to have good bones. It has to be a good house that just has financial problems rather than a bad house that nobody wants. Because I want to be able to put a tenant in there right away. If I'm going to be living in the property, it has to be a property that I could turn around and sell within 30, 60 days and break even or close to it. Now, could I buy a property, turn around and sell it and lose $5,000, $10,000? Yeah, I could do that. Why? Keep away from those properties that you can't turn around and sell immediately. That's sort of a rule of thumb. Could you violate that rule if there was enough equity in the property? Could you violate that rule if you saw enough upside? Yes, but that's a rule of thumb. Why do we have those rules of thumbs? So that we don't get into trouble. The next thing I'm looking for is this a property that the value is going to go up or the value is going to go down? Meaning, is this a good neighborhood? And so I want to go around and find out what other houses in the neighborhood are selling for, and I want to see if they're moving up, they're moving down. I want to see the pride of ownership there. If I see that my house is the nicest house in the neighborhood and everything else is a piece of junk, I might not want to buy in that neighborhood.